The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome to the Star Sport podcast. I'm your host Dylan Mangan, joined today by Star Sport reporter Sean Holland. Now today we're welcoming not one but two of the All-Ireland winning Cork camogie team onto the show. Sean has been speaking with Saoirse McCarthy and Fiona Keating in the aftermath of their victory last weekend, and we're excited to hear from them a little bit later on. The Star Sport podcast is brought to you in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose credit union, choose local, choose community. And before we hear from Fiona and Saoirse, Sean, let's take a quick look through the club results from the weekend. It was the second round of games in the County Football Championship, and lots going on. It was a bit of a mixed bag for West Cork teams. We'll start up in Premier Senior, and Castlehaven were again the big winners. They qualified from their group with a game to spare, beating St. Michael's quite comprehensively. And you think they're probably very happy, obviously, with the win, and very happy as well. I presume they might be favourites now, installing themselves as favourites to retain the title.
Yeah, without doubt, especially after St. Finbarrs, who were the pre-tournament favourites, they lost to Mallow, so Castlehaven have probably jumped them in terms of the overall favourites to retain their title. But their performance on Friday was very clean, very professional, getting the job done, and they looked impressive on both sides of the ball, which was hugely encouraging for them going forward in the season.
It probably wasn't easy for them going into this season as well. Obviously, they've had a target on their back after winning it last year. They had a change of manager as well, so you might have been forgiven for thinking there'd be a little bit of a drop off in their performances. But obviously, last time they won the county, it was back to back. It was 2012, 2013. So they might be able to make it 2023, 2024 this time out as well. Only time will tell. Elsewhere in that group, Sean, the big derby at the weekend was between Ross and Clonakilty. It ended in a draw, but Ross did really well to come back from 6 points down to keep their hopes of qualifying alive.
They did indeed, yeah. If you're looking at the game and you're saying 15 minutes to go, and Clon, who are, a very compact unit, very good defensively, and you're up 6 points. They almost probably felt that the game was won. I know Owen Ryan, their selector, afterwards probably alluded to that once Daragoff got his penalty to put him up 6, they probably took the foot off the gas a small bit, but that's not taking anything away from Ross. They've had to deal with a lot of injuries in their team, and they really dug in when the game was on the line there. They alluded to John O'Rourke, their Cork star, who really came into the game and came to the fore towards the end, and they managed to pull it back. They could have even won it at the end with Dara Hayes' shot flying over the bar, but Ross will be a lot happier with that 1 point compared to Clon. But Clon are pretty much in the same situation that they would have been if they won it, really. Anyway, it's a win or go home job now against St. Michael's. Ross then had the daunting task of facing the Haven in their final game, and while you might say they're already through, there is the carrot of getting straight through to a semi-final, which I'm sure the Haven will be keen on take advantage of as well.
Yeah, and Sean, I was reading in John Hayes' column in this week in the Southern Star, which is of course out on Thursday. He was saying that carrot of a semi-final spot may not be as enticing to Haven as it would be to other teams, because they don't have as many. They're not really a dual club, and they don't have as many dual players as other teams. And he kind of said that they might prefer to kind of keep the momentum and keep the rhythm going with a quarter-final spot. But obviously, I presume you would want to be in the semi-final over the quarter-final.
Well, yeah, when you're looking at that now as well, you must think where John Hayes is from. John Hayes staunch Carbery Rangers man, so you know, I know there's a little bit of mind games going on there by John, but he knows full well he's been around the block long enough that the Haven will not be going in lightly to that game against Ross. Any game between West Cork teams, especially when you get up to the senior grade, they're intense, and teams are just looking to beat each other when you get to that level. So no, I don't think the Haven will be taking the foot off the gas. They'll be going to beat Ross, and Ross will have it all to do. But look, you know, on the day, you'd never know what might happen. But one would think the form Castlehaven are in, it'll take an unbelievable performance by any team to beat them at the moment.
Yeah, so that round isn't until the weekend of September 14th, 15th. So the teams have a little bit of a break until then. Ross play Castlehaven in Leap, and Clonakilty will play St. Michael's at the same time in Bandon. So that'll be a really exciting weekend in Group 2 of the Premier Senior Football Championship. Elsewhere in Premier Senior, you mentioned already that Mallow probably had the result of the round against the Bars, beating them. But in Group 1, with some West Cork interest, Newcestown lost out narrowly to Ballincollig, but by 9 points to 8. But they're still in a good spot going into the next round. They are hoping against hope that they might qualify with one more game to go, but they've already pretty much guaranteed survival, depending on some points difference. So for the first year back up in Premier Senior, they'll probably be happy so far.
Yeah, no, with Newcestown competing in both Premier Senior grades, just even staying in the grade alone is a very good achievement. But they do have Nemo Rangers in their last game, so they'll be up against it as well. But you know, anytime Newcestown go out, it doesn't matter who they play, they bring intensity. They don't lose by an awful lot. They keep every game close. And it's the same against Ballincollig. They're fighting right to the end, and even just a free kick could have got them at a point at the end. David Buckley's effort from long range just drifted wide. So they're not that far away either when they're up the Premier Senior grade, you know. But it would be key for them to hold that Premier Senior status, so they can develop and get used to the level of football up there. But it's just the nature of being the dual club that they are now. Their attention is focusing to hurling, and you're looking at another major player in hurling then, Blackrock, this weekend, and 85 to 90% of that team is playing both codes, so it's non-stop for them. But to their credit, they are really flying the flag for Carbery in the dual code.
Yeah, absolutely. So they'll be looking forward to that game against Blackrock, I'm sure. Looking further down the grades, Sean, what else stands out from the weekend just gone? I'm looking at Senior A. Donnies and O'Donovan Rasa have set up a pretty intense final game. They face off against each other, with the winner taking the final qualification spot in their group. But they probably had mixed results at the weekend for the pair.
Yeah, in the Senior A grade, Donnies had a good win over Fermoy. They're probably fancied all right to overcome them, but they met Kanturk, a tough Kanturk team, the first day, and they only lost by a couple of points. But you know, they got their first two points on the board there now over the weekend. And Donnies are a strong side. At least we forget they only lost to Newcestown last year in the county final, so they'll be thereabouts again. But like last round game, O'Donovan Rasa, they didn't have the best of weekends, as you alluded to there. They played strong Kanturk side. But between Donnies and Skib, the last few years, anytime they've met, there is not a lot, you know, between them. So that will be an enticing one for any West Cork football fans to go along to. So I'd imagine that'll be one you'd want to see in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, absolutely. Rasa's had a bit of a setback at the weekend, losing to Kanturk 3-16 to 8 points. So not great for them, but Kanturk are a very strong side as well. And elsewhere at the weekend, Sean, Bantry, a great win for them against Bandon in Premier Intermediate as well.
Yeah, Bantry, obviously, it's well documented, and they've gotten so close in the last couple of years, and they do have a good young cohort coming through as well. And to be fair, Bantry were well favoured to take over Bandon and you know, beat them by a good few. But to be fair to Bandon, they stuck with it and they managed to keep with Bantry all the way. And it was probably the last quarter, Bantry just showed their class and to show that they had an extra gear to go to. So Bantry will be looking forward to the next round, whereas Bandon, similar to Island Rovers, they're now looking at trying to preserve their Premier Intermediate status. So Bandon will have Nemo Rangers in their final group game, and Island will have Ahada. It's Island, Ahada, Island, Ahada, Macroom and Bandon all on 0 points, but Ahada playing Island. There's obviously something going to come out of that game. But it's all about now just trying to avoid that dreaded relegation final.
Yeah, so lots on the line for nearly every team across the grades and across the groups in each grade. Is there anything else that stood out for you at the weekend?
Yeah, Carbery Rangers, they've had a fantastic start to the year, already gaining promotion in the league, and they had another big win on the weekend against Drumtariff. So they're going against their old rivals, Adrigole from the West, who drew with Kildare. So they'll have a showdown to see who tops the group. So that will be another interesting one. And then Castletown Bear as well had a good win on the weekend. So there was mixed results for West Cork teams, but overall it was fairly positive.
Yeah, good stuff overall. I noticed one thing you're not mentioning about the weekend is a certain goal that a certain player scored in Carbery for Barry Rowe. Talk to me about that, a good win for Barry Rowe the weekend as well.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, we had a job to do and we got it done. It sets up a really tasty affair now with ourselves in St. Mary's. We met each other in the group stage last year as well. So, you know, we've seen each other a few times. They beat us in the quarterfinal then a couple of years previous. So, you know, we know each other very well, and it'll be an interesting one. But the junior championship is taking shape. A lot of the big players in the grade got wins over the weekend. So it's going to be an interesting one. I know for ourselves, we're back in hurling action now this weekend against Nemo. So the footballs are being put away for a while, and the hurleys are taken up. So it's kind of the nature of the dual code, and it's going to be the same with a lot of West Cork teams in Junior A action as well. So the Junior A championship, it always, you know, brings about good competitive football. But we were happy with the win, so I wouldn't mention too much about the goal. You know, I wouldn't be one to talk about myself. It was all right, Dylan. It was fine.
Yeah, well done from me anyway on that one. Like you said there, Carbery, the competition is often very close. Obviously, you had a great year last year. And this year it'll be tight again. Like it's hard to call. I won't ask you to call it because I don't want to put you in that position. So we'll move swiftly on. But speaking now about Saoirse McCarthy and Fiona Keating, obviously they're on the show today. You spoke to them after they won the All-Ireland Senior Camogie final last weekend, and I presume they were in great form when you caught up.
Oh, they were. No, to be fair, it was a fantastic achievement for them. We called them on the Friday, so they're after a few hard days put down, but in fairness, they're in good spirits like they always are. But Cork Camogie is in a really strong position now at the moment. That's their second All-Ireland in a row, and they have plenty success in underage ranks as well. So it could be a case where we could be seeing a real new era of dominance for Cork Camogie, because going through all the championship undefeated, it is something to behold. And even in the final, when going got tough, they really stuck at it, because they were big favourites going into the Galway game, having hammered them really earlier on in the group stage. But when last 10-15 minutes there, when the game was even, they brought on the subs. Everyone made an impact. Even Ciara O'Sullivan, who we were talking to last week, she was back from a knee injury, and to be fair, even having the caliber of players like that to bring off the bench is fantastic for him. So I could really see Cork Camogie staying at the top of the mountain for a good while to come yet.
And how important is it, Sean, do you think, that there's a good West Cork representation in the Cork Camogie team? Like, obviously we have Saoirse and Fiona on the podcast today, but there's others there as well, and a good representation from clubs across West Cork. We talk a lot about how Luke Meade is the only kind of Carbery representative in the men's in the hurling. But do you think that that's important, especially for the kind of younger camogie players in the region who have these heroes to look up to?
It is, of course, yeah. When you see girls, from your own area, like the likes of Saoirse and Fiona there in Ballinspittle, and even Fiona is working in the local shop, and you go in and you can see a girl, that is from your area and she's playing at the very highest level. And then you even look at Newcestown, you've Ciara Sullivan, you go down to Cullums with Libby Coppinger, and then we can even claim the Collins, as well. So it's fantastic for young girls around West Cork to see, that if you work hard enough, you can get to that level too. It doesn't matter what club you come from. So it's fantastic for them, and as well, it's brilliant for the club camaraderie. There were so many people from Ballinspittle that went up to the county final to support their own, and it really helps bring a community together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hear from Saoirse and Fiona now.
Right now, I'm delighted to be joined by two-time All-Ireland winning senior camogie players from Courcey Rovers, Fiona Keating and Saoirse McCarthy. Guys, how are you doing?
Great.
You're doing fantastic. I suppose after a week of celebrating, the bodies are probably in the stage of recovery now at the moment, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I suppose we're actually all right, I think. I think, when you're just so happy and, you're just going with the flow, and like you actually don't even feel it, to be honest. Like it's a long week, but like it's so enjoyable. Like I don't even think like you acknowledge that. We're going to the hospital now in a minute to the children's ward, so we took it easy.
And I suppose it's just the nature of it, you have to celebrate these kind of things, especially, when it's the second one. Is there much of a difference between the first and the second one in terms of now that you've, experienced both? I'll come to you on that, Fiona, just in terms of, did it feel any bit different than it did from last year?
I don't know. I feel like last year, I suppose, was extra special because it was our first one and we had lost two before it. And especially for me, I'd never won a senior one before last year. But this year is still like well up there. Like it's unreal to say that we've won two in a row now. After losing two, it's great to finally win two. Do you know what I mean?
Fantastic. And just even speaking there beforehand that last year in St. Flannery, so we gave you a bit more time to recover this time. So you're obviously in a nice warm house setting, but can you show us exactly what's actually holding up the phone at the moment?
Yeah, 1 second. There we are now. It's useful.
And that cup, I suppose, is going to make its way down to Ballinspittle in the near future, Saoirse.
Yeah, we'll have to organise that. Like they're very good for supporting us. So like last year we had an unreal homecoming down in Courcey, so hopefully now we'll do the same in the next couple of weeks, but nothing organised yet.
No, but it will come in time. But just even on the past week as well, I know Hannah Looney got her wish and he rode down the Lee. So how was the technique in the boat? Because I did it myself there with before the Olympics, trying to emulate Paul and Finton, but it's not that easy.
No, I think it took us a bit of time to get into it. It was a bit rocky at the start, but no, to be fair. To be fair, they were great, the rowing club there. I think there was how much clerks one day? Like
10 or 12 maybe.
Yeah, so they nearly fitted everyone in. So yeah, no, it was great crack, and seeing the pictures online, they're actually hilarious to look back.
We were all blisters.
Yeah, we actually had to do the work, so I suppose there's no harm.
Yeah.
You got no gloves or anything, it was pure just pull like a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
And any movement on the bungee jumping?
Oh no, I'd say that won't happen at all.
No, I don't think so. I think that was a high aspiration.
Yeah.
You'd like to have her around for next year, you say. But looking back to last week, Fiona, I was talking to you and just on about, coming into the final. Obviously, you were undefeated all year and haven't beaten Galway as well. Did you feel the pressure of being favourites going into the final?
No, I think we kind of stay away from that kind of stuff and the speculations and the media and things like that. And I think we just focus on ourselves. And, Liam had the analysis and stuff done on Galway. So we were just kind of focusing on that and our own team performance rather than listening to anything that was coming from outside the camp.
And were you getting questioned on it inside and centre in Ballinspittle?
No, I think I had a one-liner, so I kind of shut the questions down fairly quick.
And what was the go-to?
Changed to the weather. It's a lovely day. The day was one of the other.
Yeah, would you like a 99 or something and just move on? In fairness, he dealt with that pressure, but just kind of, Saoirse, maybe take me through going up on the train. I'd imagine it was a different train journey going up to what it was coming down. But even, was there a small bit of nervousness, or what was the feeling going up that day?
I actually think we were all very relaxed. We have a brilliant psychologist, Michelle O'Connor, and you know, that's our 4th All-Ireland final day in a row. And I just think, not that we're getting used to it, because that will sound like, but I just think we know the routine, we know the crack, we know what's required of us. I suppose there's no point in being tense or nervous hours before the game, because you're just wasting energy. So I suppose we're just trying to stay as relaxed as possible for as long as possible. We're probably nice and chilled out right up until I'd say the parade and the anthem, like, and then you lock in, like. But you're gonna say what? No, okay. But yeah, no, very relaxed, very chilled. You know, we know our job, all the work is done, so it's just about enjoying the day and getting through it. Really, like it was a long day. You know, 5 o'clock throw in, or 5:15. So, you know, you're just worried about food and hydration, really, and just getting through the day, to be honest. There's a lot of sitting around waiting.
Right, so coming to you then, Fiona, at half time, obviously being favourites, and you're going down then by a point, and you're going into the dressing room. So what was Ger's message to you, obviously, because he came flying out the traps then in the second half?
I suppose the main message really was to put the head down, you know, keep working hard, stick to the process. I mean, we kind of had a game plan or tactics and stuff, you know, that we were using all year. And I think, you know, we didn't want to stray away from that too much. And I think, you know, we always knew that when it comes to the last 15 minutes kind of the game, that we always drive on. And I think that's kind of what happened. We kind of put the heads down once we went out, and thank God it got us over the line in the end.
And just even for yourself as well, I know, Saoirse, you were in a different situation last year where you were on the sideline against Waterford, and, you know, pretty much the game was won. But Fiona, this time you were on the sideline, and, you know, there was 5 or 6 minutes at a time. It was very close. So if you want to just even explain kind of like what the nerves were like, you know, watching on at the end.
Yeah, it was definitely tough watching on this time round. I think, you know, you're sitting there on the edge of your seat because there's nothing you can do, only kind of scream at them. But I think, you know, all of us on the bench were just like up in the heap, and you know, I think we always knew it coming into it as well. We were like, no, we have it, like we've done enough, and you know, we were just really wanted to do it, and thank God it got us over the line in the end. But yeah, that last 5-10 minutes was definitely a bit nerve-wracking.
Imagine so. And Saoirse, how did it feel, you know, to hear the whistle and win your second All-Ireland?
To be honest, I was exhausted. Like, you think, like, the final whistle goes, it was just complete relief. You know, I suppose against Waterford, we were able to kind of soak it in and enjoy it, and we kind of went mental. But this was, I genuinely was just like, oh, thank God.
And
it was a really, really, really tough physical game. And I suppose, like, I was absolutely based. So the final whistle went, and I was just like the 6 minutes when it went up, we were all like, oh God. And like it was really nerve-wracking, and you know, I suppose those last 5 minutes, it was just hectic. Like, they had a few shots on goal, we were all back. I think I had played in 4 different positions in the last 10 minutes. You know, it was hectic. So just for the final whistle to actually go and we were on the right side of it was just relief, I think.
Fantastic. And just even, you mentioned earlier how, you know, such a long day it was. How are you then coming into the after party, the Marty party, I suppose? That didn't start really till all hours, and I'd imagine you'd probably...
Yeah, we had a dinner at 11:15.
Oh, jeez.
We were tired and hungry, but you know, we had to drive it on. I think it was at least 5 o'clock anyway before we went to bed. So, you know, we had to fly the flag, like.
Of course. And was it an early rise then in the morning?
Yeah.
The liquid breakfast started at about 10:30.
Yeah.
Jeez.
In hindsight, that's like 5 hours after going to bed.
Really lucky. So you had the dinner at 11:30. The fact that it could line the stomach for the next day.
That's true,
Yeah,
actually.
that's
That's kind of like
actually
nearly.
But even now, looking forward, so you're after winning 2. You have a very young nucleus of a team. You guys are pretty much nearly coming onto the senior members of the team. And you're still early 20s. So tell us about how you're looking forward to next year. I know it's the usual thing. Looking forward to next year. Let you enjoy this, but you have a good team, and you could be here for a while.
Yeah, I mean, after winning, we haven't really thought too much into it about next year, but there's definitely a great panel, and there's so much young girls coming through after winning minor All Irelands. So there's definitely a high caliber of players, which hopefully that will probably be coming onto the panel, and that will just add to the depth and strength of it. And one thing about the panel is that you're always fighting for a position. No one's ever too comfortable in a spot, and there's no complacency, which is the most important thing on a panel. So I think that will definitely be the same next year, when we probably will have a few new younger members joining us.
And you're going strength to strength. So just moving from Cork a small bit to club, and the camogie championship, the club championship is upon us then as well. So when are you going back into Courcey Rovers, or have you decided about that?
So we're going back training Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. Saturday, Monday, and then we're playing against Killa next Thursday. So it'll be great to go back to the club girls. We were down there in the past few weeks, kind of showing our faces and getting back used to playing with them and being with them. So yeah, no, it's definitely great to be going back to them again.
That's fantastic. And just final one, have you any holidays or anything planned, or is it just GA for the whole year?
Fiona does.
Yeah, I'm going away Friday week. I'm going to Villamora, and then I'm going to Africa in November. So I have a few coming up for it.
Fantastic.
I'm not. I'm moving to Dublin in September, so I have nothing planned yet. But I'll definitely get away.
It isn't quite as glamorous as Africa or Villamora.
No.
But no, listen, it was a fantastic year for you both, and Cork Camogie is on the rise, and hopefully we'll be speaking again next year with another O'Duffy Cup holding on to the phone. Listen, thanks very much, Fiona and Saoirse. Cheers for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Welcome back to the Star Sport podcast after that great chat with Saoirse McCarthy and Fiona Keating. The Southern Star will be in shops and online via our e-paper from Thursday morning. That is Thursday, the 22nd of August. And there's plenty to look forward to in this week's Southern Star Sport. Of course, we have match reports from all of the club football action over the weekend. So the Clan and Ross match, Castlehaven's match, all the way down the grades, as well as in the Carbery Junior A as well. So there's plenty to look forward to there. On the front page of this week's Southern Star, we also hear from Phil Healy, who has put her retirement plans on hold. She says the Olympics have inspired her to stay on track for 2025. At the start of this year, she wasn't sure if she would be continuing, but the brilliant result in Paris has convinced her to shelve any plans. So there's a great interview with her in this week's Southern Star. We also have the John Hayes column. As he says, Castlehaven have started to flex their muscles. They are now favourites to retain their Premier crown. He gives his opinion on all the football action over the weekend. There's also a brilliant win for Keith Cronin, who edged closer to the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship title with a brilliant triumph in the Ulster Rally. We have a report from there as well. We also have road bowling as 4 novice deciders, and the Junior C final will be decided this weekend. There's 2 pages of West Cork soccer from Ger McCarthy, as well as a report from Phil Healy's homecoming, as she stopped traffic in Ballyneen and Enniskeane last week as she arrived back home to a hero's welcome. There's plenty more in there, including lots of rowing. Our football team of the week is in there as well. So there's 24 pages of brilliant West Cork sport to enjoy. as we also pay tribute to the legend that was Kevin Kelly, who leaves a lasting legacy. Tom Lyons has done a great piece on Kevin's impact both for Newcestown and Cork GAA as well. So that is not one to be missed either. Like I said, that'll be in shops and online from Thursday morning. If you are further afield, you can't make it to the shops, you can subscribe to the Southern Star and get it on your laptop, tablet, or phone. Just head to subscribe.southernstar.ie, enter your details, and you'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week. As always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. And if you've enjoyed this, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back again next week. Thanks for listening.